for the rest of my time, we're going to deal with this subtitle: how to invest in others. How to invest in others. Now, all the questions I've answered over the first 5 weeks were how to invest in yourself. What we're going to deal with now is how to invest in others. Now, what is my favorite statement over the last year? If your life is in disrepair, what? An investment has to be made. If your life is in disrepair in any area, an investment has to be made. You have to make an investment in yourself. That is, you have to commit to be righteous. You have to work to repair the breaches in your life. You have to be committed and be faithful. That's the investment you have to make. But others have to invest in you. That is, others are going to have to make a sacrifice. If your life is in disrepair, somebody's going to have to make a sacrifice to help make you whole. Somebody else is going to have to make a commitment to give into your life. And I'm not necessarily talking about money, but to make an investment in your life to secure a future gain from your life. You know, when people invest in your life, it's not that they want anything from you, it's what they want for you. And so they're committed to putting in some things into your life because they want to secure a future gain in your life. But it's not for them, it's for you. In other words, I'm not pouring into my children to get anything back from me. I'm pouring into my children because I desire something for them. So I'm sacrificing me. I'm committed to them because I want a future gain in their life. And my joy is going to come not because of what they do for me. My joy is going to come from what they do with the investment for them and for their children and their children's children. Are you following me? So if your life is in disrepair, somebody's going to have to make an investment. But they're not investing in you to get something back from you. They're investing in you to get something for you that you can't get without some help. Okay? So if your life is in disrepair, an investment has to be made. So let's start dealing with some investment questions. And the first person asked me 5 questions. They're all connected. Okay? But I'm going to put it under this title. So you can mark this as your first thing we're going to deal with. How do you help those who don't want to help themselves? Oh, I told you it's a good one, isn't it? How do you help those, Pastor, that don't want to help themselves or don't want help? Now, I get asked this question a lot. My cousin, my child, my mother, my aunt, my whatever, they just a mess. And everything I done tried to do. How do you help somebody? Sound familiar? Okay, so this person took the time out to put this together in a very skilled way. They tried to use my own words. They did use my own words. They said, Pastor, you said early in the series. Listen, I had to go look it up because I didn't even remember saying it. I'm like, I ain't say that. I did say it. You said that mercy is help for those who are afflicted and asking for aid. That's what they said I said. And when I looked it up, I did say that. Because that's actually the definition of mercy, to help those who are afflicted and seeking aid. So the person then has some questions. If you may have had one of these questions, you can just say amen to make the person feel good. Should people obtain mercy if they're not seeking aid? Second question was, should we actively seek to restore and invest in individuals who are not seeking aid? Third, they said, should more focus be on those who are seeking help? Now, here's the fourth one. If so, how do we handle those who are resistant and apathetic? Should we just give up on them, or do we have to more actively pursue them? Aren't those good questions? I thought they were good questions. And then I went to Matthew 5, because I was going to say, well, you know, just leave them alone. But then Matthew 5 said, sure, I know what I think you ought to do to them. But then I said, look unto Jesus. See, there's our connection right there. And Jesus did this sermon. You know, Jesus preached a sermon. And we call it the Sermon on the Mount. And we also call it the Beatitudes. These are the attitudes you ought to be. And then in verse number 7 of Matthew chapter 5, while he's just preaching, he says, blessed, there it is again, blessed, happy, happier are the merciful, for they shall obtain mercy. So then I said, well, maybe we shouldn't just dump them because maybe I may need some mercy. So that caused me to do some more studying. But I think, let me tell you now, seriously, let me tell you why I think I'm asked this question so often and why this person asked this question. I think because a lot of times people confuse the directness in which myself and maybe even the Episcopal pastor, the directness in which we teach with whether or not we are merciful people. Because I think sometimes people think because of the directness in which I teach that I'm not a merciful person. Because I teach things like, you know, sometimes you need to lay aside a person that's a weight. You know, I make statements that are very direct. Amen. I'm not even 90 yet, and I'm already blunt. I just can't wait till I'm 90, boy. I'm going to let y'all have it. Because what you going to do, I'm old by then, but just give me a plaque. Amen. And wheel me to the next place. Well, you know, that's Pastor Cherry. But listen, over half my life has been dedicated to being merciful to people. It's what I do all day, every day. That's over half my life. My wife will tell you, and I'm sure the Episcopal pastor's wife will tell you, that there are probably not two more merciful people in this room than the two of us. There are many times where everyone questions the extent to which we are merciful. So I think sometimes you confuse, or there's confusion between the directness at which I teach about not being unequally yoked and not allowing people to drain on you, wear on you, those types of things, with whether or not you should have mercy. So I think this is a good opportunity to clarify, so that we can have a good, clear understanding of how to have mercy. And don't you think that's good? Yeah, because see, I answered the question that I know that y'all wouldn't ask, which is sometimes pastor don't seem like he had mercy at all. Just go ahead and say amen. You know, right, I know. He just cold. So let's talk about it. All right. Now, in order to understand mercy, we must know that there's more than the one definition that the person cited in this question. There are actually two prominent definitions for mercy. So to be merciful, it does mean to help those who are afflicted and seeking aid. But to have mercy also means to have compassion. And to have compassion means to have a heart that is tender and easily moved by the distress, suffering, or infirmity of another. To have compassion, it means to have a heart that is tender and easily moved towards those who are towards distress or suffering or infirmities in others. Now, if I was not a merciful person, I couldn't preach. The thing that puts me in my office hour upon hour upon hour upon hour is mercy. My heart is easily moved towards the hurt of another, and is tender towards the hurt of another. Now, those two definitions are important because one speaks to the condition of the heart and one speaks to the actions of your life. And so, watch this. So mercy starts with a compassionate heart. And as a result of a compassionate heart, you seek to help those who need help and are seeking help. Now I'm going to help you out right off the bat. If someone doesn't want help, you can have compassion, but you can't help. Your heart can be tender and easily moved, but it may not be anything you can do. Now listen to this. I'm going to give you a succession of statements. You got to bear with me. You got to listen carefully to get this, because I want the key is understanding, right? You can only truly help those who recognize, desire, and accept the fact that they need help. You can only truly help those who recognize and desire and accept the fact that they truly need help. Now, if you look unto Jesus, listen, you won't be able to help. Before I do that, let me say this. You will not be able to help everybody, but you can have compassion for everyone. So you're not going to be able to help everyone, but you can. My wife will tell you, my heart sometimes breaks for people that I'm not going to lift a finger to help. I mean, my heart literally breaks, and I'm not going to lift a finger to help them. I can't. They don't desire, accept, and recognize the fact that they need help, and I can't help them. But my heart is broken, devastated. See? And at any point, if they desire help, I have compassion. No matter what they've done, where they've been, or how bad, or how long they acted up, my wife will tell you, I'm right there with them. The great thing about my job, it really doesn't matter what anybody does. Once they're ready to get right, I'm there for you. Doesn't even matter if you did it to me. Listen, there are people in here tonight who have spent years talking about me and said all manner of evil against me. But when your life got rough, you came back. Now, I don't know who you are, and I really don't care, and it really doesn't matter. I'm just happy you're home. And if what I'm teaching is a blessing to you, I'm glad. My heart hurts for people who hate me, because their hate for me is eating them up, and it's not affecting me. My wife would tell, sometimes I almost have tears in my eyes talking about people who hate me. Well, what they must be going through. Down on the inside. That's what Jesus said, pray for those. Now we're talking about how, see, because you can't, now, if you want to know where I got that statement, you can only truly help those who recognize, desire, and accept that they need help. Look at Jesus' earthly ministry. Jesus didn't help everybody. Jesus helped those who were seeking help. They climbed up a tree, met him by a well, got dropped in through a roof. Father went for his daughter, dropped at his feet, washed them with his hair. He helped those who were seeking help, who knew and recognized that they needed mercy. See, you can't give mercy to someone in the help sense who doesn't recognize or accept that they need mercy. If you study out the 4 Gospels, it's amazing how many times people came to Jesus and cried out for mercy. That exact word. Lord, have mercy.